Having a college degree is powerful. Statistics show you're more likely to love your career and even have a shot at making more money with that paper than without it. However, for some DC youth, going to and graduating from college seems impossible. What's in the way? Today, we'll chat about breaking those barriers and getting your access granted. This is what I wish you knew about college access. Hey, I'm Torrin Cooper. Welcome to I Wish You Knew. Some say college is the best years of your life. You can study abroad, learn a language, and of course, go to parties. Why wouldn't you want to go? Well, for some, wanting to go isn't the problem. Knowing that it's even an option is. But don't worry, we've got you covered. Here to tell you what they wish you knew are.
Hey, I am Waynika Walls.
Hello, I'm Bria Burke.
Hey guys, I'm Byron.
Today we're joined by De'Ronna Jones, a senior program manager with the DC College Access Program, known as DC CAP. Welcome, Ms. Jones.
Thanks for having me.
First, let's start about, can you tell us a little bit about what DC CAP is?
DC CAP is a private nonprofit organization, and our primary mission is to ensure that DC public and public charter school students enroll and graduate from college. Okay. And the way we do this is we have DC CAP advisors in 38 DC public and public charter schools. We also have a retention department that actually helps the students once they get into college to ensure that they graduate. And we have what's called our Last Dollar Award, in which we give students up to $2,000 to go to school.
Mm-hmm. Solid. So let's talk a little bit about those barriers that are in the way of college access. What are the common issues or some of the most often issues that arise when you talk about college access to seniors?
Well, a lot of our students are first-generation college students, and we find that they don't necessarily have the support to go to school. Their parent hasn't went. They don't know about the process. So it's very important that they have someone to help them to navigate through the college process, whether it be helping them with college applications, securing financial aid, as well as scholarships so they can actually afford to go. Mm-hmm. Another barrier for some of our students is trying to figure out what major, what they want to actually major in, and exploring different options that'll be beneficial to them, once they actually enroll into school.
Mm. So panel, have you guys run into any obstacles or barriers in the way when applying to college?
I'm going to piggyback off of what she said. Like, just finding a major, it was so hard. I think when you're more well-rounded, it's easier to find a major because you've been around different people. But if you haven't been, I had never been around a lot of doctors or lawyers, so it was hard for me to say well, I want to study this or I want to study that. I was kind of just navigating through college oh, this sounds fun or this sounds fun. So then when I officially was okay, I am into politics. I do things that go on in the political realm. That's when I came up with a political science major. But that was after saying I want to go to nursing school, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I don't think I'm the only person in that boat. I think it's so many students that struggle with just finding and picking and sticking with an actual major.
Yeah. I know for me, it was because my mom went to college. She had college. A lot of my aunts, they did, but they did theirs in a different way, in a different time. So for me, the barrier was understanding how to go about everything, not really knowing how to necessarily apply or what do I do. Because in my senior year, I transferred to a different high school, so obviously I wasn't as comfortable with counselors and things like that, so I didn't necessarily know, and then I didn't, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I didn't necessarily just say, hey Mom, how do you do this? Don't know why, but so that was a barrier for me. So is there a family support component with DC CAP where you guys kind of help the family see a different side? Or
Yeah, we have parent workshops in which we invite the parents actually into the school, and we provide food, and we talk to them about the entire college process, and especially financial aid, because that's really the big piece. It's it's actually paying for the school, right? So we help the parents fill out that FAFSA application. DC Tag is very important here in the district. and just making sure that they have an understanding of what their child is going to need throughout that senior year to help them to complete all those applications that are involved with the college process.
Can you talk a little bit about what FAFSA is and DC Tag and those things?
Okay, so FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid, and it determines a parent's expected family contribution. It's a lot of acronyms, but that pretty much says how much a parent can afford to pay. And a lot of cases, it's not actually true that they can afford that EFC amount, but it also determines whether a student is Pell eligible. It makes them eligible for student loans as well. A DC Tag is the DC Tuition Assistance Grant. It pays the difference between in-state and out-of-state rate, up to $10,000 for public universities and $2,500 for private HBCUs, as well as the local universities here in the district. So your Howard University as well as American Trinity, they pay $2,500 for students to go to those institutions.
And do all students have access to those funds?
Yes, they have access to those funds. Now, one thing about our scholarship, the DC Cap Last Dollar Award, all students can apply, but you have to have what's called an unmet need. So, after you factor in the cost of attendance, all of the grant that you have, the grant aid that you have, as well as your student loans, there's a lot of unmet need. How much you have to pay before you can step on that college campus, and that's where the DC Cap Last Dollar Award comes in to assist students with that last dollar that they're going to need in order to go to school.
Now, is DC Cap something that the students seek out in their schools, or does a counselor kind of approach students or have a space for them to come to them and help them with those services? So
in a lot of our schools, we actually work in the guidance department. So we're right there with that guidance counselor or college counselor in some of the charter schools. So there is a location that students can come to get assistance, and we work very closely with the guidance counselors and college counselors in the school. And when we first come in, we always introduce ourselves to the seniors at a number of senior meetings, and at the beginning of the year we introduce ourselves and our services. But we work with students from 9th grade, from 9th to 12th grade. So we introduce our program to them early.
Thank you. This is great, but we have to take a break. But first, it's trivia time. Which college located in DC is the oldest post-secondary institution? Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. We're talking about getting DC students college bound with Deronda Jones, Senior Program Manager for the DC College Access Program. Each year, DC Cap sponsors a talent competition called DC Capital All-Stars. Here's a taste of the 2017 event.
Or we even tried to make us sell our soul for dollar signs.
And the grand prize winner of the DC Capital Stars Talent Competition, who will receive a $10,000 scholarship this evening, is Andrew Price.
Ms. Jones, can you share a little bit more about what this Capital All-Stars program is?
Well, it's our largest fundraiser, and we have an application process that starts once the students go right back into school, once they start school. And from there, we select students that actually audition. They actually audition for the competition. From there, we select the 40 semifinalists who we then record and we put up on our website, and the public gets to vote for the top 10 finalists. And that is who you saw in the actual clip, and they get to compete for a $10,000 scholarship.
Solid. Okay. Is it like everybody wins kind of thing, or is it just
Everybody walks home with something. So first place is $10,000. Second place is a $6,000 scholarship to college.
Okay.
Third place is $4,000, and the runner-ups get a $2,000 scholarship.
Oh, that's solid. I wish I would have done that
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
when I was in high school.
Right.
Some of this song.
Yeah, singing.
I think I've heard of it, but I wasn't too sure about it. But I wish I would have taken advantage of that
You wish
opportunity.
you knew.
Yeah.
With college, there's like a side that's like, you know, if you're not used to handling responsibility, time management, and things like that, there's a lit side to college where you get lit and you have fun.
Right.
So do you all help the students understand that going into it, no one is there to tell you this is what you need to do and to balance themselves?
Yeah, we do. We actually have our pre-college event every year for the incoming freshmen. And we have those conversations with them. We have a males-only workshop. We have a females-only workshop. And we talk to them about all the things that they need to know before they step on a college campus. So we have those real candid conversations with students. Yeah. So we definitely have those things.
So I know DC Cap ensures that students get to college and also graduate. What kind of programs are set in place, or do they have a counselor to stick with them throughout college to make sure that they graduate?
Yeah, we have a retention department. Retention advisors are actually housed at our main office, and their job is to work with those students once they are in college to help them to not only retain but to meet SAP, make sure that they maintain that 2.0 GPA, and ensure that they have whatever financial assistance that's needed so that they stay in college and ultimately graduate. They also go to some of the various colleges and assist students with the DC TAG application once that season approaches. So they do a lot of work to ensure that students graduate.
Yeah. And I know choosing a college is, sometimes can be difficult. Do you guys deal with students who want to go far away and parents who want them to stay home?
Yeah, we actually deal with that a lot. We tell the parents that they have to come to some type of decision as to what's best for both of them. But with DC TAG, a lot of our students go away because they have once again they have the opportunity to go to any school within the U.S. So we find that some students like to stay closer to home. Some students may want a smaller class size. Some students may want to go to a HBCU. Some students may want to go to a majority school. So we kind of help them to figure that out, by a number of conversations that we have with them to kind of, to figure out what's the best match and fit for them.
So when you hear stories like Blue, where everyone got an acceptance letter into college, how motivating and how celebratory is that in the office?
Yeah, I mean, we were very happy. Those students, they come from some, humble, beginnings, and we know that it can be a challenge for them, to actually get through that process. But with the support from us as well as the staff there, we're great to know that all the students receive, 100% college acceptance. And our goal is that not only do they receive that acceptance, but that they enroll and graduate. And that's what that's what DC CAP's ultimate goal is to see them graduate from school.
So we're going to touch on Blue High School in the third segment, but let's go back to, you mentioned HBCUs and PWIs. How important is it for students to really research what these institutions offer and seeing that they get the best out of their experience? Some students, they want a school that may have a fraternity, sorority, you know that, right? They really need to do their research. We have a number of, websites that we have the students to go to identify a school that's the best, fit for them. But ultimately, we would love for the kid to actually visit the campus to, see what that school, looks like. So we work very closely with the school system. Some schools actually have, college visits where they take the students out and actually let them, visit the campus to actually see the schools firsthand. So it's very important for them to know, everything that a college has to offer. Some students need support services. They may need some additional support on that college campus. So for those students, we reach out to the college admission counselor to actually see what additional supports on campus for students who are in need. Awesome. More conversation when we return. Be sure to tell us what you think by using the hashtag IWYK. I wish you knew. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. There's a lot of hype around Ballew's high school 2017 senior class, all applying and all being accepted into college. Why was this so exceptional, and what would you say took to make all of this possible?
It was a team effort, so everybody, realized that this was a goal for the year, and they helped those students to identify colleges that they wanted to apply to, and they saw that they needed to support the students throughout the entire process. The college application process can be very daunting. You got to do personal statements. You got to submit your fee waiver if you're eligible.
College tours.
Right.
All of that.
So just everybody pitching in and following up with students is very important. So, we definitely had to identify the student who didn't submit the transcript or, didn't, submit say the personal statement, and just making sure that every student did exactly what they needed to do to be accepted. So, just a team effort.
So Byron, as a DC resident, homegrown, growing up, Ballew had like a bad rep. Like that's the school you just didn't go to.
Ballew was in my neighborhood, so
it's
for
in your
me,
neighborhood.
this was pretty important. When I saw this headline, I was like, "What?" Because I remember Ballew.
Yeah.
Back when Ballew was Ballew, right? Like, what? You don't want to go up there and mess around, but it just goes to show you. I studied architecture in high school, so it just goes to show that removing or changing a space for a group of people can do remarkable things. Like the old Ballew, it didn't even look like you wanted to succeed because the building was just so old, it was just falling apart. And like when you go in there, you just feel like I just want to slack. But if you go to the new Ballew, it's a LEED green building like the Phelps building. All like they conserve energy, they have like sustainable energy resources and stuff like that, and the building just looks great. So going up to that school, you're proud to be a Ballew student, you know what I'm saying? So it just subconsciously like triggers something in your mind, like you want to work hard, you want to do something that's memorable because your building looks amazing. So
it is amazing looking building.
And I think that's important. And a lot of our schools, Ballew, Theodore Roosevelt, Dunbar, H.D. Woodson, all are getting this cosmetic changes from the outside and from the inside. And I think it's important that our students go to school and feel a certain type of pride about where they go to. And if they feel attached to the school, they're going to want to keep going. And when they get to college, it's like, wow, I have the same feeling that I have back home, and now I want to do even better. When you change the environment, you kind of change the person, the way they feel about, education and what's going on inside the building as well too. So I think that's important.
Because I had a balance of DCPS, and then I went to school in Maryland, and it was so much school spirit coming from in the other county that I was in, because I think just the money that was involved, more people had more money to give to the school, so sports were really popping, which sports are popping in DC too, but it was a different feel. And then when I came to DCPS, it was like everything was starting to just grow, and everything was, coming into fruition. So I noticed the difference, but I noticed where it was heading. And so when I seen that headline about Ballew, I was excited, because I love when because people say young people, when you come from certain places, they love to put you in this box, and it's amazing to see people use that as motivation. Like, that's what it is, but we're going to continue to move forward. So I know for me, I was elated, because I'm like, that is so lit.
I thought the story was amazing, and what's touched home for me is there's so many people, I'm from Maryland, there's so many people from Maryland where like large classes where the funding where there's some form of funding, like WISE or Roosevelt, all those kids aren't graduated, where this is a school that people have looked down on for years and years and years, and they're proving like we are not our circumstance, like we can overcome anything. And it was just such a powerful story. And I think, now students can see anybody can do anything that you put your mind to.
Exactly.
Ms. Jones, what do you think this means for the city, for this one high school to all apply and all be accepted in college?
It's our goal for it to be all schools in the District of Columbia. We want to ensure that all students have the same success that Blue students have. So we're just going to work even harder to make sure that every student in the District of Columbia not only are they accepted to school, but they enroll and ultimately graduate.
So a quick question. For students who express not wanting to go to college or want to take a different route, do you guys counsel them as well or give them advice about how to do that?
We direct those students to the community college. Some students may want to do vocational ed. They may want to be an electrician, a plumber. You know, so we identify programs that have certifications in those fields, and you know, we talk to them about the community college option. But we do have students who want to go in the military. You know, some want to go directly into the workforce, and you know, we just support them as much as possible by referring them to the whatever resource that will help to support, you know, their goal once they graduate from high school.
Because I mean, I think it's important because especially with those type of people, because everybody is not meant to do the same thing. They're not all going to want to do the same thing. I know for me, for college, it was more of a test of endurance, just proving that, because people know that college is difficult outside of just having to do the work. You're coming of age, you're learning yourself, and there's so many different pressures and things that are going on, but to show that you can endure it and push through, that's really, to me, less about the degree and more about the fact that you were able to accomplish a goal while going through all adversity.
So last question, does DC CAP has a physical presence inside the school that children can come to, students can come to?
Yeah, so we
How
have.
do people find out about DC CAP?
We have our DC CAP advisors who are located in the guidance counseling suite, which we call our college information resource centers. And they can just, you know, go and you know, seek us by asking their guidance counselor or college counselor in some of the schools. You know, who is my DC CAP advisor? They can also visit our website. We have all of our staff there, so they can identify who their DC CAP advisor is for their specific school. And our website is www.dccap.org.
And that's for public and charter schools?
Yeah, DC public and public charter schools.
And they service kids, students from 9th to 12th.
You got
it. So
it.
not just seniors, so you can start at 9th grade and get ready for college all the way through. This conversation was simply amazing. But we have to go. But before we do, panel, the answer to our trivia question is
Georgetown University.
Yes, Georgetown. Georgetown University was established in 1789 and is the nation's oldest Catholic and Jesuit university. Wow. Have you guys been to Georgetown before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I shop there all the time.
Right.